Hello. Welcome back to school. This is going to be part 2 of going through this pile right down there. I hope I can get it done by the end of this, but we'll see. So I'm going to put you back on the music desk, and hopefully you won't fall over because of all the spines of books that are on here. Okay. I'm gonna make my screen a little bit brighter so I can see what's going on here. Alright, I gotta move my pile closer. My chair got moved and the pile got moved. So. Okay. So, the next book is gonna go on the very highly recommended book list. This is Carol Kruger's, make sure I got that name right. Where is it? Yeah. This is Carol Kruger's, where is it? Down there it is. Progressive Sight Singing. This is the first edition. They're currently on the 4th edition, but I would highly recommend getting any one of these books. Obviously, if you get the 4th edition, or if there's even a 5th edition later, you're going to get the most current of her actual research and her charts and things that she puts in. This book is basically, she approaches, this is sight reading and ear training book. Basically, she approaches music reading like how children, babies are introduced to language. When children are young, and babies, obviously, when they're young, they do a lot of listening, and they take in all that information, and they then begin to babble, more or less, and slowly they start to mimic what they hear. If they hear mama, if they hear the mom saying mama or dad saying dada, more than likely, that child is gonna have one of those words come out of its mouth. It's not gonna have Vater or Mutter or some other foreign language that they don't know coming out of their mouth, because they're not hearing German, but they're hearing mama, dada, English. The same is true for music. So she has, in the first section of each of these chapters, there is basically a section where the teacher would recite a rhythm, and then the student would basically copy that rhythm. And the teacher would then recite another rhythm, and then the student would then copy that rhythm. Then the teacher, after a couple of these, the teacher might recite a rhythm and ask the students, which pattern did I play? Or which pattern did I sing? And later on, they might take those rhythms and improvise with them within boundaries. Say, if the student only knows the beat and the division of the beat, so if it was like like ta, ti, or, using takadimi, ta, tadi. If the teacher says, okay, we're only going to use 2 rhythms, and I want you to do 2 different rhythms. I mean, it's going to be a little difficult with 2 rhythms, but, set up boundaries for the student to actually have limitations with their, basically their responses. So if the teacher says ta, the student could respond tadi, and the teacher might respond tadi ta, and the student might respond ta tadi. Granted, there's only so many choices with 2 options, but gradually that's a way of checking that the student can not only understand what they've been learning, but also use what they have been learning. And so this book, I don't think, goes into as much of the improvising, but definitely it does have like the teacher call and response things in here. It's got a whole wealth of sight reading. Here's a page. Sight reading exercises in here. In the back of the book, it's got, oh my gosh, it has charts galore. It has the different rhythm patterns. Let me see here if I could find, that's talking about modes. We don't want modes. It has the different rhythm patterns in here. She's got a zillion different rhythm patterns that could be chose. She has a little description, the pros and cons of them, I believe. Here's another rhythm chart. She has, here's the different tonal charts. So she's got, the pros and cons and what the student needs to master for the solfege. There's the solfege. I think these are the current hand signs. You got the natural ones, and then the flats, and then the sharps. So she's got all of that in here. She has like a keyboard type thing. So like a ladder practicing could be done on this. So like, do, re, mi, re, do, fa, mi. Stuff like that could be done on there, or just, practice in general. What else does she have in the back of this book? There's a section on dictation. She has like a method how you could dictate music. Just this first edition is it just has a lot of stuff. I've got the first, third, and fourth editions. Eventually, I'm going to buy the second edition just to add it to the library. If you look up YouTube, if you look up Carol Kruger, there are a couple really good seminars that she has done, put out talk shows. She's been invited on to different channels like I think it's like Choralosophy. And she's done some workshops that some of that stuff is put on the internet. But this girl, she's onto something when it comes to music literacy. So this book, Progressive Sight Singing by Carol Kruger, any one of her editions, get it. The most recent one at the recording of this video is the 4th edition, and I think we will get into that. But as far as where this goes in my pile, it's going to go in the, I don't think, what is it called? The I don't know what to do with pile. Because I have the 4th edition, I'm not going to, this is just going to be used for something else. But I don't think I need it. A lot of the information that's in the 4th edition is also in this other edition here. Okay, I don't know how I ran across that book, but I am so thankful that I did, because I learned about it and I bought it. It's like, this is an awesome book. Also, before I permanently put this book away, there are book links that on the internet, I think the 3rd edition is still up from what I remember. I don't think the 1st and 2nd edition links are still up, because the links obviously correspond with the books, and as they keep making new editions of the books, they just keep updating the website and changing the name accordingly to match with the book. But she does, there are links on the internet for the third edition, to the best of my knowledge that I have last checked. So she's got charts, more practice exercises for the different chapters. I think she's got worksheets on there. I mean, this girl has thought of everything when it comes to ear training and sight singing. Now, getting off of the Carol Kruger bandwagon. This book is Introduction to Ear Training and Sight Singing. This is, I think it's the 2nd edition. I have no clue. Yeah, it's the 2nd edition down there, wherever my finger is. I can't see my finger. Oh, there it is. No, that's my hand. Yeah. Okay. The light from the sun is bouncing off the book, so I can't see well. This book, I don't know if it's still out there. You might be able to find used copies for sure, or maybe like fairly good copies. This copy was from the school, and basically it was our ear training and dictation book. I do not remember that we went through this a whole lot. We did do, some stuff here and there, but we only had like 2, maybe an hour and a half for class for music theory. But there is some notes in here that I wrote out. But this book is basically a 2-year university textbook for oral skills, ear training, and sight singing. This book basically combines the 2 segments. Yeah. There's a bunch of pages like these. So obviously, if you don't have the instructor's book, which we'll get into that later, if you don't have the instructor's dictation book, the student book is really going to be quite useless until you get that instructor book. But this book covers rhythm, pitches. I think there's some harmony elements in here. There's melodic stuff. Let me see. Here's a section in clef reading. Ooh. Look at this example just above my finger. I can't see. Where did it go? Okay, there it is. I think my head is in the way. So they have fun examples like these in here. Obviously, this is pretty much in the middle of the book. So they've obviously introduced these clefs, but they do have reading from the soprano, alto, tenor, mezzo clefs that are in here. But this book, here's some sight singing stuff out of here. If you don't have the teacher, the dictation book for, the teacher's book, you could still find the book and use the sight singing and some of the harmony stuff that's already, like, pretty much anything that's written out. Here's another section where they're doing sight singing. This book, as far as my use for Braille, I don't think I'll be using it. I think the reason why I'm not going to use it is how they introduce rhythm. They introduce rhythm very, like, they mix the compound and the simple meters together. Like here there's a 4/4. I'm looking for my hand. I can't see my hand. Like, okay, like there's a 4/4, and right underneath it is 6/8. So for me, that would really throw me off. Because I would have to literally, reset my brain to think, okay, simple compound. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I could not. I don't like how they introduce rhythm in this book. But they've got some really great, I think it's in this book that has in the student. Yeah, I went through and marked out a bunch of stuff in this, preface to the student. And there's a lot of really good stuff that the author wrote out in the preface to the student, but how it's introduced in this book is kind of wonky. I don't know. I'd have to check and see on my syllabus if I have this book put in there or not. I'll put it in a third pile. I don't know what to do with this pile. The pile I think I'm more than likely going to use. The third pile will be the let me check into this pile. Shoot. So that's gonna be in the let me check into this later pile. The third book, Anthology of Sight Singing. This book, actually, let me pull the next book, because these more or less go together. this is called the Manual of Ear Training and Sight Singing. I never studied from this book, but I heard from, I think the YouTube channel is Just Another Flutist. She did a review on her sight singing books, and she said that she had to use this when she was in undergrad and even in grad school, because I guess with the school she went to, like, she had to go through remedial courses in, like, sight singing and ear training and theory and, stuff like that. So that's, she had recommended this book, and, based on her comments and looking into it, it's like, oh, this looks interesting. So, from what it sounds like, this book, it basically teaches you how to listen for, let me think here. What to listen for and what to look for in music, in, again, the functional status, the functional state of things. I'm trying to see here if I could find an example. Where did that little page go? Every once in a while there'll be these charts where they'll have the solfege written out, and then they'll have like arrows to where they can go to. Here's one. So this is dealing with skips within the mediant triad. So they have little things like this where they say this pitch can go to here. Let me just start at the bottom. So the third degree, mi, can go up to sol, or it can go up to ti. And then, obviously the sol is going to drop down to mi. And they got all these different, they got these little things sprinkled all throughout here. So, like when I was mentioning in part 1 how fa wants to lead down to mi or go up to sol, that's what this little chart is showing within, obviously this is a different chord in the middle of the book. But this is, it basically teaches you how to listen to music. And I guess it takes it more from like a theoretical approach. Like, I'm not exactly sure how to word it. I haven't officially studied from this book, so I'm not sure how it would actually be used. It's got like plans and things of how, if you're going through like a, 2-year or 4-semester, well, that is 2 years, but they have different plans of how this book could be accomplished. So this book is basically the it has setups like for your dictation. Like, it's got all these little things here. Like it says, this is a clef, this is the first note, this is, whatever stuff you have to kind of prepare for. Obviously, this is what the student sees. Later on in the pile, you will see what the instructor sees. But this is basically kind of like the student dictation stroke how to use this stuff book. The student doesn't write in this book. There's no real writing space in here, but it does have reference to the sight singing anthology pages, which is another completely different book. So we'll move on to that book. But this book, as far as if I'm going to use it, I don't know. I think I'm going to put it in the let me think about it pile. This book here is the sight singing book. I got it used. It's fairly good condition. I had to go through and mark out a couple letters and solfege symbols that were written in pen, of course. If you're a musician, don't use pen. Use pencil. Because more than likely you will make a mistake. But this book is basically a book of sight reading exercises of varying degrees. I don't know if there's rhythm in here or not. I'm kind of checking. I don't see any rhythm. Yeah, I'm not seeing any rhythm exercises in here. I'm sure somehow they introduce rhythm. Maybe they talk about rhythm in the other book more. But this book mostly looks like it's a bunch of, what do they call it? Sight reading examples for students to read through as they're going through the manual for ear training. So this book, I will put it in the let me think about this pile. And we will move on. This book is not really an ear training book. It's a book I found in the Google Books. And so I bought the book because it kind of looked interesting. It's called Theories on Synesthesia in Light of Color, or in the light of a Case of Color Hearing. And this is by Otto Ortmann. And so, yeah, I bought the book to read through it. It sounded interesting because I find reading about like absolute pitch, color hearing, things like that, very, very fascinating. So I wanted to see what this guy said about that. The only drawback about this book is there is a lot of white space. It's either could be a good thing or a bad thing if you like to take notes in your book. This is whatever that publisher is. These people have a lot of white space in their book. If anybody from this book publishing is watching this, try not to have so much white space in your books, please. That theory book that I was looking at has kind of the same issue, bunch of white space around the pages. It's like the pages aren't formatted to fit the book size, which is kind of yeah. And again, it's got your general back information. I think I'll put this in the let me think about this pile. We might read through this in class. I don't know. But it is more or less interesting. The next collection, I got 2 books. Let's see. This is volume 2. This is volume 1. This is called Musical Dictation. And again, this is a reprint with forgotten books. And as a side note, as far as publishing goes, to the best of my knowledge, Forgotten Books is really, really good. I haven't really ran across anything, bad about them. The only thing I could say that's bad is that their actual binding process isn't horribly up to snuff. Like, you could tell that there's wiggle room and stuff, but as far as the formatting of the pages, the cleanness of the pages, the page gutters, all that stuff is really, really good. And Forgotten Books has a lot of books that in all different fields that you can find. So this is a musical dictation practical guide for musical students. And the author is Friedrich Lewis Ritter. And this can obviously be found on Google Books as well. So again, this is pretty much what the teacher would be utilizing. They would play these examples, and the student would have to write them in their music book on staff paper. And they progress in various difficulties. I think the first several pages literally just talk about like what rhythms are covered in each exercise. Now, the thing that I wish the author had done was put these just before the exercise that they're covering, but it is what it is. So they got several pages where the teacher, goes through and sees, okay, these are all the stuff that we're covering for these different rhythms. And then you have the actual exercises here. And if you look, here is letter A, and all the exercises that correspond with letter A will correspond with this section here. Where'd it go? The letter A in this section. So this is basically dealing with half notes, whole notes, nothing real detrimental. And gradually, as you work through, you're working on more advanced rhythm. So this book might be a good reference book. Again, that's another rhythm page. So what this author is doing is he's teaching rhythm before he teaches notation, pitches, and here is the beginning of the pitches. I don't know if this is using like solfege or anything, but these are conducting patterns. But yeah, this book, I haven't used it. If it's not used for dictation, it could definitely be used for sight reading. Which is the cool thing about music is you can use anything, pretty much anything, music-wise, that you need for something. Oh, here they are. The scale degrees and their names. So this is book 1. I think I'm going to keep this out. Book 2 is obviously a bit more thicker than book 1, and covers a lot more advanced topics. Let me see what at the end of book 1. Okay, so book one, to the best of my ability, or to the best of my knowledge, it's all single line music. It's all one voice, nothing real Dutch. I mean, this is the last page, and then I got the whatever that is. List of works. This book starts off with two voices. So the teacher is basically playing two lines of music at the piano. And the student is writing it out. And I'm thinking that this will gradually introduce 3 and 4 voices. Yeah, there's some chords in here. Yeah. Let me just go to the middle of the page. Short prelude. So, again, I haven't looked through this book really to see how to use it. But, I'm assuming the teacher would play this and the student would write it down. It does say musical dictation on the front. And dictation is when you're writing stuff down. Here are, looks like harmony. Stuff dealing with harmony on this page. I'm trying to make sure that this is visible. I'm sorry, I got the light is kind of in a bad spot right now. Looks like more harmony. Near the end of the book, let's see what that entails. Oh, this looks exciting. Here's some compound examples that they give you to write out. And this book here, again, is on the public domain. Like, you can find it in Google Books. Just type in the title. Musical Dictation, a practical guide for musical students. Frederick Louis Ritter, however, if you want to French it or not. But that book is on Google Books. This book is, again, it's another sight singing book. This book, when I was at university, we didn't use this book, but this was used by the teacher. I think she used like the 6th or 7th edition, a later edition, or I should say earlier edition, because I think this is the latest one. She used a later, earlier edition, and so basically, like, if I was doing dictation, because I couldn't see the overhead screen or whatever to check my answer, she would either just give me the actual book and she would tell me what number it was, or else she would make like a photocopy of the answers and just, give them to me as needed. So, like, in my notation, in my oral skills stuff, I've got some of this stuff marked out, and I wrote down the title of this book just as like, oh, I'm gonna write down this title, and just, for later purposes. And it is kind of interesting. The notation is really small, and the book is kind of like, it's just held together by this metal wire, and it's very, like, the holes are punched extremely close to the edge of the book, which is not very good, because as wear and tear is used on this book, the cover is just gonna fall off, the pages are gonna fall out, and yeah. But this book covers basically 4-year music reading they have, I'm trying to find, okay, chapter 1 begins with rhythm. So, like, here's your first rhythm page out of that. Again, like, this could be used for sight singing or dictation or whatever. I can't see where the end of my, oh, there it is. My cat is meowing at me. I think there are, let me see here. Does this book do the same thing? Yeah, this book does the same thing that other book does. It puts compound and simple meter together, which I don't like it when books do that. The nice thing, I think on this page, like, everything has the minim as the beat. So that's kind of nice because it gives your brain and your eye enough time to actually comprehend, okay, the minim is the beat. And this one looks like it's the 8th note as the beat. So they kind of break it up that way, which I guess is okay. The cat is meowing at me, which means I should probably get her some dinner. Let's see. Pitches. I don't see any melodic stuff in chapter 1. Oh. I think there's duets in here. Look at these duets. We didn't do any duets. Well, we did a couple at university, but not enough on a regular basis. More rhythm stuff. Well, that's what the chapter says. But then they have some actual pitch examples for reading. So this stuff goes from, like, I would say easy stuff to advanced stuff. I'm trying to see here. I think they've got those, here's a tenor clef down here. So they do incorporate the movable do clefs. I think they do have some asymmetrical meters in here, but I'm not finding them. Yeah, I'm not finding the asymmetrical. I know there's a couple because we had to deal with them. That's another example with tenor clef. I don't know where the asymmetrical meters are. In the back, it looks like they've got some keyboard 2-part stuff. We'll just say 2-part stuff. Not necessarily keyboard stuff because it has the bracket. No, it's the brace. Oh, shoot, I don't know. I always get the brace and the bracket mixed up. But it's the one that says this is for a family, not for a single instrument. So that's this book. It could be used for, again, sight singing, dictation, transposition. You could use these for transposition. Say if it's written in the key of A flat major. Play the example in E flat major or C major. Transpose by sight. If it's in A flat major, play it in A flat minor. Things like that. You could possibly do harmony, like harmonizing the examples. You'd have to know, like, basic foundational harmony stuff to do that, but I think I'm going to keep this out for reference. This book did come with a scan code or something. I guess you could, like, go online and it'll have more exercises and stuff. I've not used it, so I don't know what that entails, but I'll leave that book out for reference. It could be utilized. This is the Complete Sight Singer. Let me feed the cat real quick, get her I mean, I gave her a little bit of food before I started, but she wants the good stuff right now. So I'm going to get her the good stuff, and then we're going to go through the rest of this pile. Okay, the cat has water. No, I have water. The cat has her good stuff. We're going to forge through the rest of this pile. This is another, what is this? Sight Singing Complete. This is by the same guy that wrote that blue book. This is a 7th edition. And the reason I don't know, the reason I know that is because in the theory book that we used for advanced placement theory, we used the 7th edition, and in there they had, recommended this book and the ear training book, which I think is the next book. Let me see. Yeah, the ear training book is the next book. So this is basically a sight singing book. Again, it literally is music examples. Oh, and then I opened to a fun one. Look at the bottom one. It has those are the alto cleves. That's what that is. So this book incorporates the middle C cleves, which is not, they're not predominant. And there's also like some 3-part pieces in here. The middle C cleves are not primarily, they're not all over the place, but they are introduced. I personally think they should be more sporadic, if that makes sense. Like, I shouldn't say sporadic. They should be more commonplace. Rhythm. Again, I'm not sure if this book is going to be used. I think it might be just like reference material. Let me see. Unit 15, compound changing meters. I'm just kind of looking through the front matter. See what page 1 has. Okay, page 1 has rhythm, like simple compound. I think he mixes compound and simple meters together, I think. Well, maybe not, because these are all, I don't know. I don't know. My brain is kind of going wonky right now. 416. Has anybody seen anything like that? So I guess in some way, weird shape or form, he does start simple and gradually adds more to it. The first pages of diatonic melodies. He's got these things which basically you kind of sing through that and kind of get used to the diatonic things. Trying to turn the page. It won't turn. I guess somebody should open this book. Should turn these pages more. Yeah, these are just melodic examples. Oh, this is interesting. There's an improvisation section. So that's very interesting. Um, that is something I'm noticing within the classical realm is that people, teachers and students at like the, like, I don't want to say forward-thinking people, but people who actually um, look at the history of classical music and see that while improvisation was like a huge thing with classical music, and I remember one time on YouTube there's a, oh my gosh, well, maybe it's not that bad. It's all treble clefs. um, but like I remember one time I was watching something about Beethoven, and he was at some pub or something, and there's a bunch of people there, and they were having this improvisation duo where, or is it duel? I don't know. Duel. I think it's duel with an L. Duel. Duel. Like fighting with swords. But you're only doing it with music. So, this character that's acting as Beethoven, you know, he's going in there and basically they're doing this improvisation thing on a Mozart theme, like a well-known Mozart from the Magic Flute or something, like very popular tune. And so this one guy, he goes first, and I don't know if they made his character look really dumb, but it, like, his finesse was not really as what I would thought it would be. But definitely they made the character of Beethoven sound much more finesseful in improvising. You know, they had him doing broken chords and arpeggios and, you know, all kinds of stuff based on this, you know, Mozart theme. But somewhere along the lines, classical music dropped out on the whole improvisation thing, and you know, now people are trying to bring it back because they're realizing that improvisation is basically musical talking. Like, if you listen to jazz music, it's all over the place. You know, string bass might do something, and then the sax might do something, and then string bass is going to reply with, you know, what the sax says. And it's really cool. I don't have a lot of jazz experience other than what little bit I've have with shared links and jazz history class. But I don't know. I really think that improvisation should be it should be brought back to the realm of classical music, and taught at an early age. As far as this book, if I'm going to use it, I have no idea. I'm going to put it in the I don't know what to do with this section. Yeah. So, improvisation, like sight singing and ear training, all the stuff needs to be taught. I mean, obviously, improvisation, you have to have a little bit of harmony knowledge before you can actually properly improvise. But even then, harmony needs to be taught at an early age. And not just your, this is the tonic, and this is the dominant, and this is the tonic. But actually understanding what that means and knowing how to play them in all keys, you know, all that stuff. Because that's where improvisation starts. If you don't have a foundation in harmony, you really can't improvise because you have to be able to have harmony, to improvise what you're hearing in your head. This, what is this? Where's the head of the title? A technique, oh, here. Ear training, a technique for listening. I think that's what this book is. Again, this is the 7th edition. It was recommended in my AP theory textbook, so I bought it. There once was an online thing that goes with it, but the online thing is no longer supported, so everything that goes with this is basically gone out the window as far as online internet help goes. But basically, this is very similar to that other book that I was showing. It just has, like, here's some dictation stuff. Again, if you don't have the answer key to these dictation books, you're basically a sitting duck. Yeah, you have to have the answer keys if you're going to actually use these books. Here's a section that deals with harmony of some sort. I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah, it deals with harmony. So again, this is basically like your dictation book. The teacher would play a melody or something, and you would write it down on the music, on the lined staff. I think this thing here looks like intervals. It looks like down here at the bottom might be intervals. When I was at university, again, I'm going to put this in the I don't know what to do with this pile, but I don't want to, put it out quite yet. When I was at university, we had a book for sight singing, which, nope, that's not it. We had a book for sight singing. We had, basically that was all we had, was just a book for sight singing and a bunch of handouts and written papers. We didn't really have a dictation book, which for me was really, really frustrating because I didn't have a concept of what we were learning, when we were learning, I didn't have anything. So that was kind of like, really frustrating. But we did have this next book. Music for Sight Singing, the 4th edition. I think now, no, this is the 5th edition, sorry. I think now they're on the 6th edition, which has a completely different cover. But this is the book that I used in music at the university. I'm trying to see here if I could find some marks in of which exercises I actually did. I don't have any of these. I marked them, which probably goes to show like how often we really had to work from this book. Basically, like, the students would just work on the exercises that were given, that were assigned, and they just kind of ignored everything else. And they treated all these exercises like it was a song, and the words were literally like the solfege. Kind of like that Sound of Music thing. What is it? Like, da 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 da. I don't know. Okay, here's... I don't know what this is, but this is something from 4th year or 4th semester. Move tempo. I'm trying to read my note. It says move tempo, feel the impulse. Oh, feel the group and beat, I think. I don't know. But this is an example that I had to sing when I was at music school. And here was another one down at the bottom. I probably couldn't do, I probably could. What is this, 6/8 time? Oh, heck no. It changes to 5/8 time. No. This is like multi-meter stuff. It changes meter every 5, well, not every 5 beats, but every meter, every bar, it changes meter. So that was one example. Here is, here's one from my 2nd year, or my 2nd semester by my finger. You guys can read that stuff. I think this was one we had to play and sing or something. Okay, the right hand we had to sing and the left we had to clap. So, yeah, that's some of the stuff we had to do. We didn't do those ones too often, like the clapping and singing ones. We didn't do those too often, so I was happy about that. Let me see. Anything else? No, it's just a bunch of rhythms in the front. Unit 1, 1 and 2 pulse units, undivided. Now, the funny thing is, when I went to school, I had no clue what this stuff meant. 1 and 2 pulse units, I didn't know what that meant. And why they didn't explain that stuff is beyond me. But basically, again, yeah, more rhythm. More rhythm. Trying to see if there's a sight singing thing in here. I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2. Yeah, here's one we had to do. The one up on the top. I think I actually might keep this book out as reference. I think I have some stuff, like I was going through and marking out some stuff for Braille, and I did notice that there was some like introductory stuff, like preparatory stuff in here for the pictures and things that I thought were really good. So I'm going to put this in the we'll think about it pile. And then let that be. The next book, that last book that I showed was just sight singing. This book is the ear training, which we did not use this book at the school, at the music school. It would be nice if we did have this book, and we did use it, but we didn't. This is, I had to find this off the internet. I honestly don't know. It basically is, again, it's a blank book. If you don't have the teacher's instruction guide to go with this, yeah, you're a sitting duck. But this is basically your dictation book. And it's got intervals and melodies and harmonies. But because I don't have the teacher's guide, I really can't use this book until I get the teacher's guide. It did come with a CD. Hold on. It came with a CD-ROM. I don't know if all the examples are put on there, but I do have that in my CD case, so I will put this in the I don't know what to do with this pile. Because I just don't know what to do with it. This book is the 4th edition of Carol Kruger's sight singing, progressive sight singing book. This is the latest edition as the time of this recording in spring 2024. This book just came out last fall in 2023. So this book is almost, I think it's just over 800 pages or almost 1,000 pages. I don't know. It's really, really thick. But this is the book I'm hoping to make use of for Braille. I've got a bunch of tabs in here marked that I initially had marked in the other book, but I marked them in this book because this is the most recent edition. And the neat thing about this edition is that she has began to add tables like this for rhythm. I don't know if you guys could see that, but there's all these different tables. Actually, is this pitch? Yeah. No, I think this is rhythm. I'm not sure. But she's got tables of this stuff sprinkled throughout the book. There's probably like updates on, typos and things like that. She primarily, like in this example, she primarily uses the Takadimi method, which is the beat-based method of rhythm reading, which, establishes the beat, which is pretty important in music. She's got these charts in the back, which I'm not going to go through and show everything because a lot of it is a repeat. She's got, new to this book I can't really show this that well, but she's got all these tables, and I haven't really looked to see what this actually is. So I can't say this is what these tables are because I don't know what they are. I haven't had time. I haven't really sat down to look at them. She's got a whole bunch of, she's got these kind of tables. She has harmonic stuff in the back. I think, yeah, this whole back stuff is all harmony. So these are various like chord progressions, I think, with different, major, minor tonalities. I think there's a section on improvisation. More tables. Yeah, this thing has a wealth of information. More tables, more harmony. More tables, glossary of foreign languages. Somewhere in here she does have a thing on improvisation, but I'm not finding that section right now. Um, but yeah, this is the 4th edition. I would highly recommend getting this book. If you're going to get any of her books, get the most recent one. I have not yet been able to find the internet link that goes with this, because there's supposed to be an internet link that's mentioned in this book, but I can't find the internet link. So I don't know if they've got that up and running yet or not. But that book will definitely go in I will be using this in some way, shape, or form. This is the 3rd edition of the same, which basically is the same. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the same thing, but it's, one edition prior. This one doesn't have all the cute charts, nor does it have the improvising, but it just shows that as Dr. Kruger is learning about sight reading and improvisation and why her students at every level are illiterate in music, she's actually doing the research and finding out how and why and how best to fix the problem of musical illiteracy. And the one big thing that she says, that when people were younger, this is, by the way, going to go in the storage bin. She says that when students were younger and they were listening to music, they were not told what they were listening to. Like, they weren't told the scale degrees or the solfege for Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. They were not taught that stuff. They were just taught, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, versus, do, do, I could probably butcher this because I've never actually figured this out. Do, do, mi, sol, do, 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 re, mi, do, do, that's higher. I think it's a sol. Do, sol, do, do, sol, sol, la, la, sol, mi, fa, fa, mi, re, do. Yeah, I had to think on that to figure out what that opening step was, because nobody told me that stuff. I just learned twinkle, twinkle, little star. Yeah. So she says, music was not, elements of music was not taught to children or even to adults, as they were learning. It was just, sing, repeat, whatever. University students are illiterate in music. And it's only, it's getting worse, but there are teachers that are, trying to combat the illiteracy rate of musicians. So yeah, and a lot of it begins at the elementary school. Like learning what notes are, learning how to read music on the staff, learning the treble staff, learning the bass. If you really wanted to introduce alto, tenor, soprano, clef, you could do that. But learning that basic fundamental stuff, giving them appropriate music for music reading, not waiting until 7th, 8th year in school or 7th or 8th grade, junior high school, not waiting until high school even, not reserving the advanced choirs to those that have really good voices, not reserving the good choir for those who can only read because they don't have music literacy in their background. It's not their fault they don't have music literacy. I mean, just like it's not my fault I can't read Braille. I wasn't taught how to read Braille. So, Yeah. Okay, enough of that. Uh, this is more than likely going to go into storage. These are actually printouts from the online thing, from the third, I think from the third or first edition, I'm not sure. But again, oh, jeez. I thought I had the papers, but I guess I didn't. There's lots of charts like these, like a lot of charts like these. These could be used for, again, practicing solfege, all that stuff, which is pretty much what it's there for. It's for students to practice and to visualize what the stuff actually looks like. This is the pentachord chart. I think when I printed these off, I didn't have a good printer. This is the pentachord in the minor mode. Yeah. I think this will go into storage as well, to keep it with the other books that they came from, or the editions. Let's see, what else do I have? This is not sight singing. Czerny's letters to a young lady on pianoforte playing. Yeah, I'm gonna read this someday. 1871. This is a book I would actually like to see if we could kind of read like a letter in class, not necessarily every class period, but just for me to just listen for a bit and just enjoy just listening. Because, I mean, this is, it's a teacher writing to a student. But yeah, this book basically covers the elements of pianoforte playing, and then it goes into harmony near the end. They talk about intervals, or Czerny talks about intervals and harmony near the end of the book. But this book will put in we're going to keep this and see if we can read through that pile. What else is down here? We are almost coming down to the end of the pile. This is a copy from another book, which I don't know what to do with. So I'm going to actually put that over here. Basically, it's got a bunch of tips and stuff on pianoforte playing advice and things like that. This is Czerny's Opus 500. Not the whole thing, but I think this is part 3. Part 4, I have not been able to find in English, but from what it sounds like, part 4 has a lot of reference material to playing the music of Beethoven, and Bach, and I think Mozart, I'm not sure. But the books here that I have, this is part 1. Basically, this is dealing with the principles of playing the pianoforte. This is part 2. So, part 1 is obviously your basic fundamental stuff. I don't know what these are. I am not sure what these are. I don't know if these are people that endorsed the book. But, yeah. So, that's your preface. And again, this is on the internet. Um, it's definitely on IMSLP. I think it's .org. But basically, this whole front stuff is talking about seating at the piano, hand position, all that good stuff. Here's your first finger drill, which is interesting that the teacher has to play this from memory. She's not allowed to look at or he, depending on if it's a male or female that you're being taught from. The teacher is not allowed to look at the music. So the teacher has to have this memorized, and the student has to learn this by rote. And basically, it has to deal with like wrist, a little bit with wrist, and just the different feelings of the different note patterns. You know, group of 2, group of 4, group of 3. And gradually, I mean, it's just all sorts of stuff like this. This is basically like a very detailed instruction book for the teacher and student. Now, I have no clue what that is, but it looks extremely scary. These look like broken chords. I think this is some sort of exercise of some sort. It looks like some harmony stuff on the bottom there. More text. This is basically like a piano textbook. It actually probably is the first piano textbook in the entire world. Because, like, it has text incorporated in here. Let me see. So, I don't know if we're going to use this or not. I don't know. But, again, it's piano related, not specifically ear training, but somehow these books got wrapped up in there. Part 2 of this book. Pretty much more of the same. Text with music examples. Let's see, that's page 4. More finger stuff. I'm thinking we might be able to use this. I'm hoping for music, like if we meet for 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something, I'm hoping we might be able to split music into like literacy and piano, or what I would consider applied music. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But I don't know, we haven't really covered that stuff. We just kind of covered general information, more exercises. Let's at the end of this book. Again, more stuff here. These look like doubled notes. So I think this probably might be the actual first real piano method lesson book or whatnot. And if you don't include like, what is it, 238 or 599 or whatever, those are basically just music books. They don't have like text of what to teach or how to teach, how to move the hand, all that stuff. I have no clue what this stuff is, but it's more music stuff. So this will go in the piano pile. Now, from watching Authentic Sound channel, he has mentioned in this part 3, I don't know which chapter it is, but he says part 3 of Opus 500, deals with the use of the metronome. And I'm not exactly sure where it is, but that was one of the whole reasons that I bought this. Was so that I could study that more closely. Mezzo staccato, no. Let me see if I might be able to find it. I don't know if there's a contents in here. Well, there's some stuff. Let me check and see if I could find the metronome thing in here. If anyone's curious, I found the thing on the metronome. Opus 500, part 3, like volume 3, chapter 8, nope, chapter 6. I can't read Roman numerals. Chapter 7. And it looks like it's on page 85 or 80. Hold on. 66. So there's the contents. Let me see if I could mark it here where my finger is at. Where's my finger? Oh, there it is. So there that is, and I'm gonna go and find that page. Oh my gosh, hold on. That's 200 something. I gotta figure out how this is actually laid out. 66? I think it's on page 66. Okay, that's 43. 59. All right. 66. Chapter 5, 6, 7. Chapter 7. Here's the thing on Mezzo's metronome. Oh my gosh. It's like a whole page. I'll just let you guys read that if you want to read it, if you're kind of curious. This also gives me a reference page to look back on too. And then I think he's got some examples at the bottom of the page. The cat's meowing again. Try not to move it a lot. Sorry. Not very good at this. I think it's got all these examples for like several pages. Here is some more reading. I'm assuming this is on the same thing. Yeah, there's a bunch more reading here dealing with the metronome. This is like a little deviation from ear training books and sight singing books. I think we're kind of at the end of the pile anyways, so it's okay if we do a little deviation. But there's more text, and then there's more text here. Mr. Czerny had a lot to write about with the metronome. You listen carefully, you could hear my cat meowing. kind of going through that quick, so I'm not having to do this forever. Let's see. Oh my gosh. And then it goes into actual different tempi. Well, I'll stop at this page because it goes into on the allegro or on the adagio, whatever it was. And then I think he just goes into the different marks of tempo. But yeah, this will be very interesting reading. He's got all of that. I don't know. It's got some reading here. I haven't seen it flip to another chapter, so I'm assuming this is all dealing with tempo and use of the metronome and stuff. On the exception of slow pieces. Oh, is that execution of slow pieces? So he has literally pages that deal with tempo, which is kind of cool. Because most people don't talk about this, except for Wim Winters. Yeah, more. I haven't seen it start a new chapter. Oh, here's chapter 10. Somewhere along the lines we must have passed over some chapters and I missed it, so I don't know where the chapter actually switched over. But somewhere it switched from 7 to 10. So, yeah. That's chapter 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. I don't know where chapters 8 and 9 are. I guess I'll have to find those in due time to figure out where those are, because I'm not seeing them here. Oh, here's chapter 8. There's chapter 8. Okay, so this, I may have showed you some other pages that didn't refer to the metronome, but yeah. All right. So that's that interesting side bit. Interesting read. I like to read about old music books to see how it was done. What else is in this pile? Oh, we get to the good section now. These are actual dictation manuals. So, I'd mentioned earlier about that blue book with little music notes, the manual for ear training and sight singing, and the blue book with the dude with the headphones, saying that if you don't have, and of course there's that other sight music notation book. If you don't have the dictation books, you're basically a duck sitting in water. Well, I have been able to find the dictation books for more than half of the dictation books that I have. So this is the actual music key that the teacher would actually read from. And this is all stuff that the teacher sees as they're working through this, as the students are working through stuff. So that's what these are. I think I will put these in the we might use these piles, because I think that's where the textbooks are. So this is a teacher's answer key or dictation book. This here is a teacher's manual key. So like, here's some harmony stuff, I guess. Again, I haven't really looked through these, so I don't know what these all entail. There's some melodic stuff there. But yeah, so if you're like looking for, I mean, I would say for like homeschooling people, if you're looking for music books for, I don't know, teaching your little Mozart, try to get the answer keys for the dictation books. It will save a lot of time. Again, this, oh my gosh, I don't know what that is, but it's probably some chordal stuff of some sort. But yeah, this is basically what the teacher plays from when they're doing music dictation, or when the student is doing music dictation. I have no clue where I found these. I mean, obviously I found them on the internet. There's that one book that I don't know why, I cannot find the dictation book for it. I found a copy of it in, I think it was in Denmark. I found a copy of it in Denmark, and because I don't know Danish, I couldn't buy it. Otherwise, I would have done that. But yeah, definitely having teachers' books for dictation books is going to be helpful. Okay, so I have narrowed my pile down from one pile into now 3 piles. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to further divide them. Obviously, this pile and this pile are going into the storage. This pile is the one that I don't know whether or not if we're going to use. I don't want to put them away yet because we might use them. And this pile is the one that we might more than likely use for music reading and things like that. How many of these books, I don't know, but I just want to have enough resources so I'm not just working out of one book. I like to work from multiple books. So that is that. As far as this book, or this video, what I would say is a really good reference book. Definitely the Kruger book, Progressive Sight Singing and Ear Training. Or, well, actually, I think it's just Progressive Sight Singing. But again, you could use some of those as ear training. I mean, there's some stuff in there you could use for ear training. And I think that's pretty much it that I can think of for specifically related to sight singing and ear training. Other odds and ends, the Czerny book about pianoforte playing is interesting. And the Czerny book, Opus 599 again, or not 599, but 500 is again another interesting book. So those are, that's kind of what I'm looking at. I definitely did clear off some books. Now I have to put them on the shelf in somewhat of a systematic order. How that's going to work, I have no clue. Let me just flip you over. Okay, this is going to be the part when I put everything together, and hopefully the cat doesn't knock this over, because I have you all just sitting on the floor right now, leaned up against some boxes. Let me flip this up just a smidge. So that shelf that is empty is going to have all my books on it. And I don't know why it looks funny. It just looks really funny. Okay, let's put these books up on the shelf for now. I'm going to move these books over. We're going to put the books that I don't know if I'm going to use yet, like the teacher books, and the answer keys that go with them, or the student books that go with them, in the pile on the left-hand side. So we're going to move over, kitty, put that there, and then I'm going to try to find, oh, come on, cat, come on. I will be with you soon. The student books will go with them. I have to find, there's still one more, and I'm thinking what I'll probably do is keep the books together. Like the sight singing books that go with the ear training books, just keep them all together. Keep the teacher books together. Okay, so this is one set here. Where's the teacher book? This one's in the middle. Alright, so that can go there. This goes with this book. So this is a set. And the dude with the headphones, that one has a sight singing book, which is here. So that all goes together. And teacher book stays. All right, so there's 3 potential books we could use. I have the sight singing book and the dictation book for the stuff I used at university, although we didn't use the dictation book at university. But I don't have the teacher's dictation book for those yet. So that will go in that pile. The other 2 little small books, I don't know if we're going to read through them or whatnot. Actually, this book I think I was going to put into storage, right? I think I was going to put that in storage. This book I was going to leave out for potential reading. Now all of the music books for sight reading and the ear training we're going to try to see if we could put that in a somewhat systematic order. How? I don't know. But we're going to try to put these in a graded order. So I had this one near the end, which means it's more advanced. This one I'm thinking could go near the front. This book can go even before this book. This book can possibly go before. This book can more or less go before also. And then these books could possibly be used interspersingly as kind of like supplemental books. So those can go there. We're going to put these I guess these books can go here on top of the elementary books. This, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm thinking I might put this in storage, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna put this book in storage. So that's gonna go in that pile. And these books, I guess I could leave them out. We might be able to use them. I don't know. I just realized one of my books has a hole in it. Like up at the top. I don't know why there's a hole in it. But it has a hole in my book. My book has a hole in it. That is very interesting. It's like there's a cut out of my book, which is weird. I wonder if that happened when I threw it on the floor. It looks like it may have happened when I threw it on the floor. Oh wait, hold on. The hole is there because I took out the thing for the CD. That's what the hole is there for. That's taken care of. Okay, so that's volume 2, volume 3. For now, we will put them right there. This book could possibly go before these books. I don't know. See, some of the, like, a lot of these books are, like, interchangeable. This book here, is probably going to be, like, our main textbook when we really get into music reading. Because it's just that good. And hopefully I can figure out how the online stuff, if that's working or not. And again, this would be for like supplement material. So I think what I'll do is put this book, the Kruger book, in first. And I need to get back. That's theory. Harmony. Ouch. I'm running into stuff. Okay. I'm gonna have to grab that pile and drag it over here because I don't want to be rubbing my butt on the floor. Alright, we're gonna grab this pile and 1, 2, 3. Grab that book too. Alright. So we're gonna flip the pile around. And just, this is that really good book on Takadimi. This is that really good book on clef reading, which this could very easily be implemented with Braille. Instead of using the clefs, the student would use the octave signs. That's how that would work. So it's basically training the student how to recognize the different octaves and the pitches that go with them. And other smaller books, more or less easier sight reading books, dictation books, which could obviously be used for sight reading or playing or whatever. Ear training. What is this? Functional hearing. That's what this book is. That sounds like it's pretty much mostly ear training. So that can go there. These books are purely ear training, so this can go next. Hopefully I can figure out what a tetrachord is, because I don't know what a tetrachord is. I am stacking books on top of another book that keeps up and keeps falling over. And then this cute little book here. So that covers oral skills and sight singing. Potential books, starting with the one that I really like to use, and gradually moving into other books. And these are all the ear training, dictation books, things like that. What to do about these other miscellaneous books? I need to go through this shelf here and see about making room, because I'm thinking this is all organ over here. This is my Bible, and I think these are some other books I don't really need right now. So this is gonna probably be organ and piano stuff. I've got some piano stuff behind you, which I could also probably put like Czerny over there, but I'm not sure. I haven't got that far yet. So for now, I think that covers most of what I wanted to do. I'm gonna grab you guys if I can without knocking you over. I could do an overview of my newly organized shelf here, which is wonderful. Like I said, the shelf is mostly organized. The shelf is probably going to be next. That shelf is already organized. I just have to do the arithmetic homework and get that done. And that shelf up there mostly is choir and Latin stuff. I'll have to go through and get that organized. But there's a nice little space for room. So technically I could probably put Czerny over here for now. Just to get them off the floor. And some of the other books off the floor. But yeah. So I think that covers my project here. Which I'm happy because that took a long time. But it was a project I've wanted to do for a while. So, wait a minute. I found, let me see. No, never mind. These are going out into storage. I thought I found some more books, but they're not. I'm going to put Czerny on the shelf for now, just to get him off the floor. And maybe it will hold the other books up. And the reference piano paper for now can go there. I think that covers pretty much everything. The other Czerny book can go on the shelf too. Just for now, actually, I'll put him here. All right, so that is the new, for the most part, the new organized shelf for the time being. Right there. Isn't that beautiful? So I have worked up, not necessarily an appetite, but just a little bit of a motivational stuff. I'm gonna try to get a couple pages of arithmetic done. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I need to get something done because I have not done that in forever. And Lord willing, I might, if there's still time left, energy, I might visit over there and see about putting some stuff together on the fugue. Well, I won't be able to put stuff together on the fugue, but running through the fugue, making sure I can still play that section. I'm thinking on going in tomorrow. Let's see. I don't have my 9 o'clock open, so that's not going to work. I could have had 3 hours before choir, but that's not going to work because I have a 9 to 10 appointment. But possibly after choir, I might be able to get some time to try to see if I could put some stuff together at the organ, or at least do lots of review work, because that pedal subject needs to be reviewed. But if I can at least play it to like a really good level, I don't know what he's really looking for, because yeah, he hasn't really told me anything. But if I can at least run through the manual stuff and see how solid it is, I'll be happy. Until then, if you want to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget, ring the notification bell for all notifications. I don't know why my bell sounds kind of funny. Does my bell sound funny? Ooh, that's loud. Maybe I'm not holding enough to my ear. It could just be that my ear is all stuffed up and I don't hear well, because this thing, like, I remember it made a clear ting, and now it doesn't make a clear ting anymore. So yeah, if you want to, yeah, just like, share, subscribe, and don't forget, ring the notification bell for all notifications. Hopefully you can hear it better than I can.